Welcome to Top Knot Education, where you get a chapter summary of a classic novel in less time than it takes you to walk to class. This is Chapter 20. Alone at the Wicker Bar, Holden tries to pick up on one of the musicians. She doesn't pay any attention to him. He keeps drinking all the way until 1 a.m., then he decides to call Jane. Wisely, having second thoughts because of how drunk he is, he calls Sally instead. Sally answers and she remains patient with Holden, though she tells him to go home and go to bed. Instead, drunk Holden staggers into the men's bathroom. The piano player comes in and Holden starts asking him about the musician he was trying to hit on. Her name is Valencia. The piano player asks Holden how old he is and encourages him to go home. Holden states the obvious problem, quote, "No home to go to," end quote. This is heavy with all kinds of meanings, since Holden has been kicked out of school, had to flee his hotel, and refuses to return to his parents. Even more pressing, he doesn't feel like a part of the culture and is trapped in an in-between status, unwilling to grow up, or, as evidenced by his drunken efforts to meet Valencia, also unable to stay a kid. On his way out, he also tries to pick up on the hat check girl. She tells Holden she's old enough to be his mother, then she makes him wear his red hunting hat since it's cold outside. The Greeks broke the concept of love into more than one category. Instead of using the sloppy American system of "do you love me" or "do you love me, love me?" they actually broke the concept of love into various categories. One was erotic love, you're probably familiar with that concept. Another was called agapic love, which is defined as unconditional love, the type that develops when you spend a lot of time with someone and form an unbreakable bond with them. The idealized love between God and man is often described as agapic. Finally, there is filial love, which is the love between family members. With Holden and the hat check girl, and with Ernie Morrow's mom in Chapter 8, and the three girls in the club that Holden kisses on the top of the head, Catcher in the Rye is constantly blurring the lines between erotic and filial love. Holden heads to the park, but he's so drunk he drops Phoebe's record. Remember little Shirley Beans from Chapter 16. The record shatters and Holden feels terrible. He gathers up the pieces, still determined to give them to Phoebe. He wanders around the entire lake looking for ducks, but it's Christmas time, and they're gone, of course. Holden sits on the park bench and starts worrying that he'll die from the cold. Ice is forming on his clothes. He imagines his own funeral, which gets him thinking about Allie again. He hates it when rain falls on Allie's grave. Clearly his survivor's guilt is rising up again. He's putting ridiculous expectations on himself, being mad that he can't protect Allie even in death. He counts his money and he's only got $3 left and a handful of change. Bizarrely, he takes the change to the lake and tosses it in. He doesn't know why he does it. We might. It could be another rejection of socioeconomic status. Remember Dick Slagle and his suitcases from Chapter 15? Part of the reason Holden is lonely is that his money is protecting him, but it's also isolating him in important ways. Broke, homeless, and freezing, Holden does the only thing he can think of. He walks home. We'll see how that goes in the next chapter. Now get to class.